All right, everyone, real quickly here, I'm gonna try to run over a mock scrape setup. What I do, what I look for, areas that I look for, and stuff like that. Right here, it's not the greatest spot in the world, just because there is a slight slant right here. But right here, under this limb here, this is the limb we're gonna be working with. It's on a maple. This is a maple tree right here. So this is a maple tree limb. Stuff you want to avoid is like walnut, hickory, trees like sumac, trees that have a lot of stink to them, because when a deer comes here and he makes his scrape, he doesn't want any of his gland scent to be taken away by the smell of a tree. That's why also I'm gonna put here is a grapevine. I'm gonna make this a grapevine scrape. I've had extremely good success with these over the last couple of years. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hang that from here, and we're gonna go over the whole process. First step in this whole thing is location. Location is key with any scrape. Right here there's a big trail come down here, and there's a big trail that comes down here, and then there's a trail that comes from behind the camera and on this side of the camera. So we got kind of an intersection of 4 trails right here. And that's really what you want to look for. Mock scrapes work really good as long as they're in the right location. If they're not in the right location, they're not going to work. You can't just throw one of these in the middle of a pine woods like we have behind me, in the middle of nothing with no sign around it, and expect it to work. They're not going to draw these deer in from hundreds of yards or even 50 yards. You know, location is everything, and what I use these mock scrapes for is getting better pictures or video of deer, and also I can use them as a stopping point. So like I'm doing here, I have a tree stand that I just hung up in the tree here behind me. It's a great spot. I'm getting one buck in here particular quite often. He's a buck that I'm kind of unsure about, but this is just typically known to me by a major travel route. First step is location. Make sure you're in the right location. Make sure you're not in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Your second step, find a tree. No walnuts, no hickories, no trees that are going to stink real bad. Beech work pretty good. Oaks work fantastic if you do have oaks in your area. Maple works good. Hemlock works fantastic in this area. Trees like that. And I know hemlocks have a lot of sap on them, but for some reason the deer really like them. So that's your second step. You know, find a tree that's going to work adequate. Third, make sure the branch you pick, as you see, we're going to pick this branch right here. Make sure everything around it, you know, a deer can come in here and he can get all the way around this tree. He's not going to be obstructed by anything. He can see it from multiple different angles. So that's why we're using this branch right here. It's a little close to my stand, but I'm anticipating the deer to come up this way, and when he's hitting it, he should be looking that way. Or if he's coming down, he should be hitting it looking that way. Chance of a deer coming from this area is probably fairly slim to none, just because it's super thick back here behind me. But after you got that figured out, you got your tree, you got your spot, but then what you're going to do is eliminate competition. What you want to do is, see, you have this branch right here, get rid of it. That's another branch that a deer could potentially come up to and use as a scraping or a licking branch. Then what you can do to also help you is just take one of these limbs. These saplings are nice because they're pliable and they bend down. Get rid of some of this competition, and then leave one branch that's going to hang down. The leaves will start to dry out, and you know, you want some kind of a focal point. There's going to be 3 different focal points, which is a leafy tree. Your actual scrape that's on the ground is going to be an eye focal point. They're going to see that when they come up, and then your vine is also going to be the next focal point to when the deer comes up to it. So after you got that done, what you want to do before you even touch the ground with anything is you want to get your vine ready. So I have my vine right here. I have this section of vine. I'm going to tie it off to right here and hang it down. And you want it to hang roughly about hip height. So you want to get your length, snip that off, And then what I like to do is I like to tie this off. I just got a piece of nylon rope here. So what I'm gonna do is, it's nylon, so I'm gonna melt the end so it doesn't fray out and fall apart on me. So melt the ends of it. Zip ties work great. If you want to use those, they work fantastic. This is just what I happen to have with me. So once you got your cord all wrapped up, then your next step is you want to tie off. What I found to work best is grapevine branches or partial vines that are about roughly 3/4 to 1 inch in diameter. So you get that all tied up nice and tight so it's not going to come off of there. And then what this does is that this allows this to be free and hang and dangle, and the deer can play with it more. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to tie it up here to my branch like this. I'm actually going to move it down a little bit, get it closer to these leaves so these leaves are visual. So now, as you can see, this branch is hanging way too low. So you want to reduce some weight off it. Take some of these branches that are up higher that ain't gonna matter and snip them off and help get that branch to come up a little bit more. You can do these in several different ways. This is how I like to do it, is to oh, look at that. I guess they were cheap for a reason. I just broke my pruning shears. Anyways, so now that we have this here, we have some of all this competition gone. We're trying to get this to go up a little bit higher. What you can actually do is, well, no, I can't do it because my shears are broke. I can slide this up a little bit, get it higher up on the limb here, and as you guys can see, that allows it to hang a little bit higher. This will be fine though. You want it about hip height. This is just a little bit low, but it won't really matter. So your next step, anything like this, branches like this, toss them, get rid of them. You don't want them anywhere around your scrape. You want the deer to be able to come up to this completely unobstructed and totally free. So once you got this done, this is able to spin around and he can hit it back and forth and he can play with it and stuff like that. We want it, the reason we have it down here as low as we do is because you want this to be used by every deer. Every deer that's going to come up to this is going to hit this, and you want every deer to leave their scent behind. And I'm talking fawns, does, bucks, young and mature bucks. You all want them to leave their scent here. This is just kind of a post for deer to, it's like a language. Deer speak back and forth like we speak, but they do it through their glands and vocalizations and pretty much their smell. Deer rely on their smell for just about anything and everything. So once we have this established here, we got our vine, we got our branch, we got a fairly flat spot, we got our trails coming up, we got our stand here. Next thing you want to do is, if you're going to run a camera, try to find a tree where you're going to be able to get the best vantage point. Like back here, there's a tree with a crotch in it. Maybe I'll show that. Right there, what it's going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to shoot the camera up this hill. I'm going to be able to catch this trail, and then where these two trails meet right here out in front of me, and you'll get all four trails right at the intersection with this vine focal right into the middle of your trail camera. So once you got all these small sticks and stuff gone and cleared out of here, you want to make sure they're all gone. You don't want nothing around that's going to hinder the deer from coming into this. We got all that cleared out. Then you see all this leafy matter here, these little saplings that are coming up. Wherever your scrape's going to be in about a 3 to 4 foot radius, just get rid of them. Get rid of all of them, pick them out of the ground. They pull out fairly easy. Just get rid of everything where you're going to have your scrape. That way it's easy for the deer to get to. You want your ground to be nice and soft, right where the scrape's going to be. And pricker bushes are a little harder to pull out. They hurt a little bit more, but you want everything gone, even some of the grasses, like these grasses right here, pull them out, throw them aside. So once you have all these pulled out, you get all your sticks gone. This is all set up. What you're gonna do is, I don't have a rake with me. Normally I use a rake. But just get some kind of a branch like this and just start clearing the ground. Hopefully it doesn't break on you. Just start clearing the ground underneath that. And really start to throw the dirt, because you don't want big bunches of dirt piled up around your where you're trying to do your mock scrape. You don't want big piles of leafy matter or dirt clumps or anything like that. You want it to be competition free, because when a deer's coming in here, he's coming, putting his paw down, and he's really flicking. You know, he's not going to bunch it up around the edges or anything like that. So just come in here, loosen up the ground, get it all nice and loose underneath the scrape. Get some of these other weeds and stuff out of here. You pretty much want everything gone. You want to really work up the dirt, because it'll help hold some of your scent in this scrape. So now, as you can see, we got this scrape worked up on the ground, and then you got all your stuff eliminated. The deer can spin all the way around here. He's unobstructed. He's not going to run into trees. He's not going to run in any of this leafy matter into the scrape. You got your vine. You got your hanging branch that you somewhat broke off. Stands in the background. You got 4 trails that come together right here. And what you're going to do after that, whatever scents you guys want to use, if you even want to add any. I found with these vine scrapes, a lot of times you don't really have to add any. I have this Wyoming County Whitetails right here. This stuff is absolutely amazing. Everything I have is tested 100% CWD free. It's a local place to me. They help me out, and they have amazing products. Great people, great products. It's pretty hard to beat. So I have some of their doe urine and some of their buck urine. I don't have nothing dominant. I don't have nothing estrus. It's just buck and doe urine. Because when a deer comes up to this, they're gonna pee in it. And especially starting a new scrape like I am here, you're going to want to get some kind of scent established. So when the deer come up to it, it doesn't seem foreign. So I got this on the ground. What I like to do, you roughed up your dirt real good, so you're gonna have a pretty good base for this stuff to soak into, and it should hold the scent quite a bit longer, as you should be able to get it into more dirt molecules and stuff like that. I like to take my buck urine and I like to pour it in one spot, and be generous with this stuff. You know, a buck's not gonna come in here and just do this. That's not what he's gonna do. You know, you want to have a good spot. He's gonna pee quite a bit, and then on the other side, what I'll do is, when a doe pees, she kind of pees in one spot. So I'll just kind of let it hit there and flow out, kind of how it naturally would come out of a deer. Where a buck is, you know, he's kind of piddling like this. When a doe pees, it's coming more or less straight out. So now that we have this done, we have our scents in the scrape, we have our vine hanging, we have our stand located. We got 4 trails that come together here. We got a perfect tree for trail camera to be able to catch everything that's going on right here. You're done. You have your visuals in place. So our visuals in place for this are going to be this branch, the vine, and the big bare dirt spot on the ground. You should have 3 visuals for each. I like to have 3 visuals for each mock scrape that I'm going to be putting in. We're getting a ton of deer coming through here. This should get hit, I would suspect, probably tonight. I'm probably going to put a camera back here on this crotch tree, which I'll show you guys here. This is the tree that I'm talking about. You got a perfect tree right here. There's a trail that comes up. It's kind of hard to see, but it comes up along here, and then there's a trail. You guys can kind of see it coming down through here. There's another one that comes up, and then the big main trail is the one that comes up here. It meets here, and it either goes this way right past my stand, which is up in that 3 trunk tree there, or there's a trail that goes back towards this bedding area back here. So you have bedding kind of off over here, you got bedding back here, there's some bedding up in these pines, and then across here there's actually a field over there. Across that field there's a bunch of really good bedding over there. So this is kind of just a travel corridor. You guys can see it up close. Got our branch, got our vine, and got our nice big open dirt spot here, and then the stand is like right there. It's a little close. I didn't want it to be this close, but I'm pretty limited for what trees I could get in, especially for the wind here, to make sure I'm got my bases covered with the wind and still being able to hunt this spot. So that's that. This is what I do for my mock scrapes. Everybody does them a little bit different. This is the way that I've had extremely good success with. So I hope you guys find this informative, helpful, and you guys can go out and create your own mock scrapes. I do have a discount code in the description. Anything over $20 from Wyoming County Whitetails, which is the whitetailshop.com. Any order over $20 ships for free, and she ships all over the country. So, you know, go on there, the whitetailshop.com, get yourself some, try it out, and share the results with me. I'd love to send them over to Susan over at Wyoming County Whitetails. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys appreciate it. Go down, hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you guys on the next one.